So how do you drive more views and make more money here on YouTube? It's coming up.
Brian G. Johnson.
Brian G. Johnson here, and to grow on YouTube, stake your claim and amplify your message. Do that by subscribing. Click on the bell notification and you'll be on your way. Today I've got a special guest who's going to break down their journey on YouTube, going from a struggling creator driving a few views to driving millions and millions of views, to becoming a YouTube partner and making hundreds of dollars a month, increasing that to 4 figures a month, and then finally going full-time. Without further ado, really excited to introduce Rob Wilson. Rob, take it away.
Hello, my name is Rob Wilson, and this is my review of Vivado, Creative's answer to the budget pocket digital camera market. Now, as ironic as this may sound, I'm not actually recording from Vivado at the moment because it's kind of difficult to show you the camera and record at the same time. Of course, what I do need is a mirror and a really tasteless shirt. Wow. This was the first meaningful video I ever made on YouTube almost 11 years ago. I made it in my spare time whilst I was teaching English as a second language in a further education college in the UK. Today I do essentially exactly the same thing. Only now I do it on the other side of a planet and I get paid to do it full time. Hang on, that doesn't sound right. Saying full time makes this sound like a job. And how can your passion, which you're able to throw every single minute of every single day into, ever be work? That's right, I haven't been to film school, as you can clearly see. I have never read a book on social marketing in my entire life, and that includes Brian's as well, sorry. And I've never been on any exclusive YouTube courses or had access to special information that would make me a YouTube expert. And I will be the first to admit, I am not a YouTube expert. I'm a YouTube enthusiast passionate about the platform. All I have ever had to offer is my knowledge and experience I've gained throughout this YouTube journey. And when I decided to start sharing that with an audience, that's when it paid for all of this. And all it took in the end was one single tweet. You want to know how I did that? Stick around. You dig? Hello, I'm Rob and welcome to No, hang on, I'm not on that channel today. Of course, some of you will recognise me from the YouTube universe, but for those who don't, I think keeping my identity a mysterious secret for now is going to be worthwhile. I don't know, does that mean I have to wear shifty glasses for the rest of the video? So how do you go full-time on YouTube? Let's start with this. Don't set out on this journey expecting to go full-time on YouTube. I certainly didn't. All I wanted to know when I uploaded that first video onto YouTube was whether or not anybody would watch it and whether I enjoyed the process of making video content. And then a year later, after making 100 videos with still absolutely nobody watching them, I still really enjoyed making videos. And that was probably my first key discovery on this journey. Beyond giving an audience what they want, I was giving myself what I needed, a creative outlet. And still, to this day, I love coming up with ideas and pressing that record button. And to begin with, those ideas would best be described as scattered. Soccer highlights here, my amazing dance moves with my mum over here, an Audacity podcast tutorial over there, and whatever this was. It didn't really matter what I made, I just loved making stuff. Now of course, back in 2009 there was a lot less stuff being uploaded to YouTube, and when you start to focus on one particular thing, you could crush it, even if your thumbnails were as bad as this. The Asus Transformer Prime, this takes me back, my first YouTube niche. Or niche, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to guess you've never heard of this device, and I don't blame you. Released over 7 years ago, it was the first Android tablet that came with a keyboard. I bought one, and I simply decided to make a video on it. That video did really well, so I decided to make another one, and then lots and lots and lots of other ones. At this point, I had no idea such a thing as a YouTube algorithm existed, and this was long before the days of impressions and click-through rate. But I did learn a very simple truth from all of this. If you make a successful video on a specific topic, you should follow it up and attack it from every single angle with as much knowledge as you can throw at it. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but I've seen so many video creators not do this. Make a fantastic video and then worry about making up follow-up content because it will alienate their subscribers. Do me a favour, folks, try this. Go to your videos tab, sort by most popular, and then look at those first couple of videos and tell me honestly and truthfully did you follow up on more content of those videos when they were doing really well? That's how I got my start on actually growing a YouTube channel. I consumed the topic so much that I found myself besides tech YouTuber royalty, and I became the authority on Asus Transformer Prime. You see, back then I didn't really know what a subscriber was, so I wasn't too concerned with this tiny collection of people who were already aware of my content. I was much more concerned with this entire audience of people on YouTube who hadn't yet discovered my content, but might potentially if I made more about it. In one sense, this felt like the path of least YouTube resistance. The numbers are telling me that this is what YouTube wants me to make, so I'm going to make more of it. Now, I know what you're thinking at this point. I haven't got that particular device, or I'm not interested in tech. How does this apply to me? So let's push this out into the broad YouTube spectrum. It does not matter what the topic is. You are passionate about something, you have a lot of knowledge, more than 90% of the people who are searching for it on YouTube, and that is where you can capitalize on that lack of knowledge. You fill in the gaps. It could be sports, it could be politics, it could be beauty. You have something that you can share with the world, and the world wants to watch it. You just need to find out what the rest of the YouTube video creator universe hasn't covered in detail yet. And of course, when you start to build momentum, you feel like nothing can stop you. Every week felt like a new milestone, and this was long before I monetized my content. And once I was done with one device, I hopped onto another device and consumed every inch of that one too. Up and to the right, the YouTube views mountain. It's as breathtaking as the Himalayas in a weird, not in the slightest type of way. But despite all of this success and the many hours I was putting into this every single week, it was still just a hobby. What I soon realized when I did monetize my content is that millions of views will earn you very little money. At the time, I was earning maybe a couple of $100 a month, which might pay for a bit of new equipment, but it certainly wasn't going to be a full-time job. And that's when my real full-time job intervened. As well as all of this YouTube stuff on the side, I had actually managed to carve out myself a proper career. And when my employer at the time asked me whether or not I wanted to move to Canada to experience views like this and animals like this, it was hard to resist. Especially with the addition of a drone and some actual mountains which simply do not exist in my native land. So at the end of 2014, I made the life-changing decision to up sticks and move to Vancouver in Canada. As you might expect, the YouTube adventure took somewhat of a backseat, and with my eye off the ball, things plateaued for over a year. So at this point, we're 5 years and 500 videos into the journey, and it only feels like I'm a fraction closer to making this thing a full-time gig. And back then, I still had no ambitions of making a living out of this. It was just something that was really fun, that paid a little bit on the side. And with the channel shrinking at this point, and pretty much the world starting to realise the potential of YouTube, maybe I'd missed the boat. But then, with one video, it started all over again. My name is Rob Wilson, you're watching the Video Gadgets Journal, and this is an iOS device. And what it's doing right now is recording directly off the screen, for free, without jailbreak, on the latest version of the operating system. And this is a step-by-step guide on how to do it. Yes, in those 5 years, my presenting skills hadn't improved much. I don't know why I'm shouting, I was wearing a lapel microphone. And let's be honest about this, who needs to know something as specific as how to record their iPhone screen? Oh, that many. Interesting. Forgive me here, but I'm going to coin a new YouTube phrase. This was my first what you would call evergreen viral piece of content. It immediately outperformed anything I'd ever done on my channel and did so for 12 months solid. It was my channel's hero video or flagship piece of content. Pretty much everything was coming in all from that single piece of work, which was only 5 minutes long. And to begin with, I made the fatal mistake of not practicing what I've already preached in this video and doubling down on that piece of content. There is a very legitimate reason for this. How many videos can you make on the topic of how to record your iPhone screen? The answer is hundreds. I decided to experiment and completely pivot my general tech channel to the sole focus of how to record your iPhone, iPad, iOS screen. As soon as I did that, views flowed like rivers in monsoon season. Whether it was a new solution to the problem, a different app to try, bugs to fix, or commonly asked questions that needed answering, I made a video about it. And this went on for the best part of 2 years. And again, you may be asking, who would watch this stuff? But time and time again, the videos would pop. I mean, I've got to be honest, when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't think that this would be the topic I would be devouring. But I learnt 2 crucial things from this. The first being your topic. In today's YouTube world, it's not good enough to cover something at its surface level. There is too much competition from channels much bigger than you. It's much better to dig into the roots and find your own little stem on the topic. Because in this YouTube world, there is an audience for everything imaginable, even how to record your iPhone screen. And once you find that particular keyword or phrase that always seems to work when you include it in your video titles and YouTube rewards you for that, you become YouTube's ambassador for it. You just go at it hell for leather, as much content as you can. And from my experience, YouTube will make you the authority on it. You know, if my path hadn't taken a different route and I wasn't doing what I'm doing today, I would still likely be making the same sort of videos on my own channel, along with something else I discovered. Because, you see, I had delusions of grandeur and I wanted to compete where the big boys play at the head of the tech topic. But how could I do that? Bigger, better, faster. I've learned that most successful channels excel at least one of these qualities, and usually all 3. I've already confessed that I am not the greatest videographer, and I don't think I'll ever be, so I can't create the best content. But what about those other 2? Well, I decided to put that to the test. In a world where it was common to find the top 10 or 25 plus tips and tricks on a brand new iPhone, I decided to reshape that landscape. 100 plus tips, the ultimate guide, and do it all in less than 30 minutes. The results were staggering. During the trend phase, when the iPhone 7 was a hot piece of tech property, views spiked, and what followed over the next 12 months was consistent evergreen content. Even today, this video still brings in views. 900 of them in the last 48 hours, 10,000 in the last month. This video is 2.5 years old. So armed with this information, I knew that I could make bigger content than anybody else and it would still be well received by the YouTube audience. What could I do next? Well, with that first video, I was a week behind the trend. Next time, I would make the video as fast as possible and even bigger. When the next big phone was released, I locked myself in my spare bedroom and filmed the 176 tips for the Galaxy S8 into an hour-long video. I also repurposed that content to create the ultimate camera guide for the device too. I was the first video creator to release essentially complete how-to guides for the device on YouTube. Now, I will never claim that those videos are better than anyone else's, but I do know they were bigger than anyone else's and onto YouTube before anyone else. Both videos raced to the top of the search rankings and have stayed there ever since, each claiming around 1 million views. And can you imagine what impact long videos going viral have on your entire channel? You don't need to imagine it, look at the graphs. Now, some of you eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed my estimated revenue graph trending upwards. And after all of this success, I will admit I was starting to earn more than I ever thought possible on YouTube. However, it was still nowhere near enough to pay the bills. I think during my best months, which always led up to Christmas, I would be earning at most $1,000 a month. Absolutely not too shabby. But do you know how much it costs to rent here in Vancouver? So yeah, there was still a massive gap between passionate hobby and dream job. But with around 20 million views and over 1,000 videos in the bank, I did feel as if I had enough experience to give something back to the YouTube community. And that's when that gap suddenly went shh. I'm Rob Wilson, you're watching the Video Gadgets Journal, and this is how to find and use the best video tags for your YouTube uploads. It's funny to believe now that this video that is only 77 seconds long and has only 4,000 views changed the entire course of my professional career. At the time, it was just a silly idea to give a little something back to fellow video creators with 60-second tip videos, a side project on my channel. The video was about a tool that would help you find and copy something that these days is of very little importance, video tags. And at the time, like many people, I used 2 tools to do that, vidIQ and Buddy. Yeah, come on, I've got a sale message. It just so happened that for this particular tool, vidIQ did a better job, so I chose them as the focus. Wow, what a decision that turned out to be. Since I'd made a video about a vidIQ tool, I didn't see any harm in letting the company know what I'd done through a tweet. Yep, that's a tweet I mentioned 10 minutes ago. Within 12 hours of that video being published and that tweet being sent, I kid you not, the CEO of vidIQ had contacted me asking whether or not I'd like to make some videos for the vidIQ channel. And to cap it all off, he'd pay me to do it. Funny little side story while we're on the topic of payment. Because I'd never done this professionally, I had literally no idea how to value myself. In fact, I was so hilariously bad at it that when vidIQ asked me for an hourly rate, the one I gave them was so bad they insisted on doubling that. I wonder if my CEO remembers that, because I was used to AdSense levels of revenue. Or maybe he shouldn't watch this because he realises now he could have got me for cheaper. And so began my vidIQ adventure, making simple tutorial videos about their tools once a week as another source of income from YouTube. And that's what started to make all of this just a little more viable. I had been on the meagre earnings of AdSense for around 6 years at this point. I hadn't done any affiliate marketing, I'd not got any sponsorship deals, the only thing I got is lots of Bluetooth speakers from China. Like I say, one of the things I've never been good at is marketing myself, pitching to brands and trying to sell products and services within my videos and setting up all of these affiliate links. All of that to me sounded like a distraction to what I really wanted to do, which was to simply make videos. And that all links back to my original love for YouTube, the creative process. However, I did now have the skills and some experience that was worth something in the YouTube universe. Instead of successfully selling my channel's influence to businesses, I'd ended up selling my services to a business. And as the relationship grew with vidIQ, that left me in a little bit of a quandary. I was now at the stage where I still had a full-time job in Vancouver, a YouTube channel that I'd been building for 6 years and had 500,000 views a month, and now I had vidIQ to contend with as well. After doing this continuously for 6 months, I was burnt out and something had to give. But I've always got to find an opportunity to get my juggling into videos. One take. But what if my full-time job that was taking up so much of my time was no longer a factor? What if one of these could financially sustain me? That's when vidIQ came to the rescue. After a year casually working together, vidIQ wanted me to come on board full time. Wow, what an opportunity. I did still have reservations about this, my own channel. I knew that I would have to make sacrifices for this channel because if I'm working for somebody, I've got to be fully committed to that. But after 6 years and 1,200 videos of doing all of this in my spare time, imagine what I could achieve if I could do this every day, all day. And that's when I said, yes. And for the past 18 months, this has been my new home on YouTube, building out the vidIQ channel. Not just with tutorials on the tools that we provide, but through YouTube tips, tricks and advice regardless of whether or not you use the tools. Live streams that connect with our community, and the occasional snippet of news on that subscriber race you may or may not have heard about. It's not all been plain sailing, of course, and there have been challenges along the way. I did take the decision a year ago to mothball my own channel because I was just so busy with all of this vidIQ stuff. The funny thing is, because of the evergreen content I made, that channel still gets views, I'm getting passive income, and I've not done a single thing on the channel in over 12 months. Another challenge was feeling like I was starting all over again with vidIQ. It just didn't have the velocity and the momentum that my other channel has. But I, along with the awesome vidIQ team we have here, have been working relentlessly on this, and I think we're finally starting to make some progress. vidIQ's tools help me to grow my channel, just like they've helped countless other video creators grow theirs. And the vidIQ team helped turn my creative dream into a professional reality. And who knew all of that was going to happen when I first did this? Hello, my name is Rob Wilson, and this is my review of Vivado. I'm sure your path to being a full-time video creator on YouTube will have its ups and downs and follow a completely different route. When you get there, make sure to share your story. Oh, and as a postscript, I don't have 2 poodles, but I do have a few of these play buttons that need polishing up. So I've already agreed with Brian that if you support him on this video, he will send all of the AdSense to me and I can buy some polish. Cheers!
Hey, check out this video right here on how you can really crush it with the YouTube AdSense program and go full-time on YouTube. And make sure to check out these channels here from the vidIQ team as well as Rob Wilson. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to my channel. Do that and you'll feed a poodle. I got 2 and they're hungry. I'll see you next time. You dig?